Hello friends, it's Karla back today with Creative Scrapbooker Magazine. Today we are going to make a beautiful Christmas card using Lavinia Stamps. Here is a close-up look at these beautiful stamps. A lot of them could be used, of course, year-round, but I felt like we could really have fun with a Christmas card here, and we'll look closer at them as we go. We also have the Lavinia Stamps blender brushes, and we've got their ink, which is water reactive. And here we have some OLFA Creates scissors, which are great for fussy cutting. We've got some Ranger Archival ink, which is permanent. And then, of course, we have our Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. We've got a few different adhesives here, and we have some metallic transfer foil sheets. I've also grabbed some of the Lavinia Watercolor card. It's a smooth watercolor cardstock, and I really love how you can stamp on it and blend on it. So we're taking the first ink here, and it is a beautiful blue, and we're just going to blend a soft background. So these blender brushes work really nice at blending a really nice soft ink, and I find especially this watercolor cardstock is beautiful for blending on. The glass mat as well helps if you start off of the mat and bring it onto the surface. Here I'm just adding some water and drying it, and then lifting some of the background to create a bit of a snowy effect. And this ink, it stamps beautifully, it blends beautifully, and then with it being water reactive, I think it's a really great ink. I'm going to take the Altenew stamp wheel here to do some stamping, and this lovely stamp is called let's see here, Winter Magic is what it's called, and it has a whole bunch of winter words on it. It's very beautiful. Now I wanted a stamped off effect, so I'm actually doing one stamping on a scrap piece of paper, and then I'm going to remove that and do the second generation stamping on my background, just so I get a really soft, subtle stamp. And the same ink I've used for the blending is the same one I'm using for the stamping. So here we've got this cute little tree. The tree is called Fir Tree, and the little fairy is called Freya. And I love that it looks like she's putting something on top of the tree. So I'm stamping here with the olive ink, and I love how crisp it stamps. It is a dye ink pad, and it is very nice and juicy. Now, Erica decided a star from the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L Star Runner would look great on top of the tree. And here we have that pack of metallic transfer sheets. So she's actually applying that for me, and you can see that she laid down the adhesive star, and then she just simply pressed the foil sheet and it sticks to the star. You can actually use that star as a runner, but we decided just to kind of pull one of them off and lay that on the tree, and it looks beautiful. So I stamped the fairy in a permanent black ink, and that was from Ranger, the Archival ink, and then I used a little bit of the Archival ink cleaner to clean that off. Now I'm going to do a little bit of border across the top, and I love all the little element stamps that Lavinia has, where you can just kind of layer them and add almost like a little magical grove area. So even though it looks a little bit like a hot mess right here, I just keep going and layering, and I'm using that Blue Lagoon ink again that I used for the blending. Here we have the Forest Creeper, another layering floral element, and I am using some purple ink, and that's called Violet Chalk. So I'm just layering it, varying how far down I go, And then I've got the other piece to this layering set, the Swirl set. So the first stamp that I did, the squiggly one, and this little leafy one comes in the set together, called Swirl set. And here I've grabbed some of the Lavinia Multifarious cardstock. It's a really nice smooth cardstock, and I wanted to stamp the mini pine cone and then pop it up. So I'm using the Sahara ink, and I just stamped that 3 times. And then I've grabbed the OLFA cutting scissors. They're little stitching scissors, but they're really nice and small and sharp, and they work so nicely for any kind of fussy cutting. And they really are pretty quick. If you're moving your paper instead of the scissors, you can really get a quick and smooth cut around anything. So I have the 3D micro foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And Erica and I, Erica is my daughter, she's 11, we decided to decorate the tree. So this is like a little, some pretty lights that are going to be on the tree, and we've decided to foil them in different colors. So she was in charge of picking the colors of the foil. So for every 4 squares, we decided to do a different color, and she just chose the color from the rainbow sheet of foil that's in that foil pack. And then she's just pressing it down on each one. And here's a look at the finished tree, which I think looks beautiful in the light. Now we grab the Crafty Power Tape. And this is quite neat because it's a thin strip of double-sided tape, but the outside of the tape actually is wider. So you have a little area where you can actually grab that piece that goes on top of the tape, which I can't think of the name of right now, and you can pull that off. And it's just really easy to come off. So I'm just gluing down this piece that we added the foil border to with that Crafty Power Tape and our foil. And I'm gluing that with the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L tape runner in the Ultra Permanent. And then I glued down the rest of the card front. And now we're just putting on the pine cones with some foam squares that are actually a little bit lower. They're about half the size of the regular foam square. So if you want a little bit less dimension for something, those are great. We've got some Mica minerals, and this is a beautiful shimmery mica powder. I'm adding a little bit of water here to it just so I can make a little bit of a paint almost, and applying it to these fairy wings with a paintbrush. And when I turn it in the light, you're going to see how beautiful that shines. It just has a really pretty shimmer, and I thought a fairy should always have a little bit of glittery shimmer on her wings. So there's a look at that in the light. And our finished card, which is so beautiful. Thanks so much for hanging out today.